Good afternoon, happy stampers. How is everybody today? My name is Judy Anderson and from judystamps.com, and I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! In the United States. And each week, Diane and I collaborate with you guys, with each other, to bring you guys some ideas. And this week, we are sharing ideas with the outgoing ink colors. So these are 5 colors that Stampin' Up! Introduces every year, and the colors are good for 2 years. And we're having to say goodbye to some really great colors this year. I always hate saying goodbye to these colors. I'm just making sure that I am on here. Oh, I see we have 2 people on already. Awesome. You guys are quick today. Whoops. So, we're doing some projects, and Diane's project was really great yesterday. She used one of her favorites, Misty Moonlight, and it is one of my favorites. And she did guess right. My favorite out of these is Cinnamon Cider, with Bumblebee coming in at a close second. I'll tell you, I use these 2 colors all the time. But she kind of challenged me a little bit yesterday when she said, "Oh, I'll bet Judy uses all the colors." Well, I'm not using all of them. I think I'm using all but 1 color. Yeah, all but 1 color today. So I'm bringing you a couple projects, but I am going to show you some projects using all of the colors. I thought I'd share something that I am doing this month for those that purchase through me. So what do you say we get started? Okay, say hello as you come on. Give me the thumbs up and hearts. Please, please share this with your friends. That's the best compliment that you can give both Diane and myself, is when you share our videos with those that you think, would enjoy watching us craft, or perhaps make the projects that we're bringing to you. So I'm going to flip my camera around. Flip you around and down. Ooh. Don't know why I'm off-centered. I'm going to have to center this here. There we go. So, the new in colors. Move this all up. I'm going to cover that up. We have Bumblebee, Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Magenta Madness, and Misty Moonlight. Now, these colors come in cardstock, some embellishments in the past. You have re-inkers. Don't forget about your Stampin' blends. This is the one thing that I think people overlook when their colors go out, are the blends. We also have our Stampin' Right markers. I didn't bring them out here. You may have noticed when I came on today, my ink pad storage already had 5 stamp pads missing, and those are these stamp pads. And so I encourage you to get these as before the list comes out tomorrow. Get them on your order now. You don't have to close your order out, but tomorrow at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, so if you're in the Central Time Zone as I am, that's 2 p.m., the last chance list will be coming out. And from what I understand, some products are going to be discounted. We're going to move these out of the way. And some aren't. There are a lot of our designer series papers, which is our pattern paper, that have these colors in them. And I'm going to tell you, when those are gone, they're gone, you guys. So, don't forget about that. So, I encourage you to look through your catalog and choose the products that you want. Now, I am going to tell you that a lot of the embellishments, a lot of the inks, and the designer series papers, and what else? I don't know if they're going to be retiring any tools, but the embellishments, ribbons, they are all going to be while quantities last. Okay, so you're going to want to make sure you get those. The stamp sets, they will be producing, normally they produce them up to 2 weeks before the new catalog goes live, so that'll be mid-April. But don't quote me on that. But if you're budget minded like I am, I get all my must-haves, the re-inkers, the markers, the blends, and all that before they, get depleted. Yeah, I can't think of what I'm saying. So today, my first card is just a 3x3 note card, and it is using the Amazing Silhouettes and the Ornate Thanks. I use the Ornate Thanks because this stamp set does not have words in it, and I have made several projects with this particular stamp set. I am one that loves this stamp set. I love the different techniques you can do with it. I'm going to show you a little technique today. It's quite simple using it, and so let's get started. Now I have Just Jade and Marvelous Magenta. I'm going to be honest with you, I love Marvelous Magenta, but it's one that I haven't used much until lately. And so I am going to choose the Marvelous Magenta and Just Jade inks for my project. We have a piece of 3x3x6 piece of Just Jade. It's scored at 3 inches. So that's going to make our 3x3 little note card. Then I have a piece of Marvelous Magenta that is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And we are going to go ahead and just adhere that onto the front of our card. And oh, I just noticed I only have one piece of my 2.5 by 2.5 basic white. So I am going to need to cut another piece of basic white for the inside of my card. So let me grab my trimmer real quick here. And I'm going to cut this down to 2.5 by 2.5. And luckily, I have some pieces that I know that I will use for sentiments. These are 1-inch pieces, so I'll put that into my scrap bin and use that later. I'm going to grab a piece of graph paper or graph mat because my self-healing mat will get ink all over my projects. So we have this, and I am going to use the butterfly today. And when you are doing this technique, I recommend using the lightest ink first, okay? And you want colors that will go together when they bleed. These, I don't know, because otherwise they kind of turn muddy brown. So I'm going to take my Marvelous Magenta, and I am going to ink up the bottom half of my stamp here. Well, hello, Cindy and Denise. Glad you are here. I'm going to take my Just Jade. I'm going to flip this around. Now you can also, sometimes it's easier to do it this way because you can kind of gauge how far up you've gone. And I am just going to ink up the top half. Okay, I don't want to overlap too much, but it's okay to overlap. This is a square, so it doesn't matter which way I stamp it. I'm going to huff on this to moisten my ink because my lights dried out fast. So I'm just going to take this and stamp that right in the center. Okay, and look at that. So we've got Just Jade, a purpley blue, and Marvelous Magenta. Now we don't want to waste the rest of the ink on here. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to stamp it again. And this is going to be for the inside. As you can tell, it's lighter. It's okay. That's the effect that I want. And why have to ink this up again and then stamp off or do a second generation stamp on the inside? You can do it all at one time. Okay, so now I like the Just Jade. Oh my gosh, I got ink on the inside of this one. I'm going to have to do it again anyways. So, don't know how I did that, so we're going to do it again. Let's get this inked up. I pressed too hard, so I have ink in the center there. So I'm just going to wipe it off a little bit. And what happened is when I inked it up, or when I stamped it, I pressed too hard. go up and down. I did overlap a little bit. I don't think I overlapped as much as I did the first time. Even pressure, not too hard, and there we go. Yeah, I got just a little bit. I like the other image better, to be honest, but that's okay. I didn't want that blotch in the middle. Okay, we're going to grab our verses, and the verse I want to put on the front of this is thanks, and I am going to do it in the Just Jade. And I am going to hope and pray that this is dark enough. I could have even done it in the Misty Moonlight to bring out that blue. Oh, perfect. Okay, on the inside of the card, I want to put for all you do. And we're just going to put that right across the center. And look at that. So we're decorating the inside of this and the front. We close up these ink pads. Why, hi, Christy. I haven't seen you for a while. How are you doing? Are you on your lunch? So good to, oh, my hands have ink on them. I am going to fix that. You know, I don't know why lately, but I have been getting extra ink on my cards. I am going to take my adhesive remover and see if I can remove some of that ink. Sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't. It'll get the lighter stuff off, but sometimes I just have to rub, and I can see that it's not going to get it all off, but I have a remedy for that. You know, just another opportunity. You know what? I am going to keep a extra chamois here for my fingers. I don't know why, but my husband says I'm losing my mind. That's why I keep getting ink. Okay, so my remedy is I have our Elegant Faceted Gems, and I'm going to put a couple of these on the last ones. I actually put them on the colors, and I'm going to show you those in a minute. I put them actually on the, okay, I just had my Take Your Pick tool, and it's missing. So I guess I'm going to have to use my paper snips. I'm sure it's here on my desk someplace. And I am going to take the white ones for this one just because I have to cover these opportunities up. And this one's going to get a couple more than my last ones. You could even color these with your Stampin' Blend. So if you wanted to do, oh, I'm not getting the adhesive with that one. Okay, we're going to let that one sit. Get this off. Okay, your Take Your Pick tool is so much easier. I've got a little ink blot over here. So let's cover that up. So we have 3, and I'm going to grab 2 small ones. And I am going to put this one here and another one over here. Okay, so we have 5. So that note card is all done. How quick and fast is that? You know, these are great. Like I said, I'm doing these up for my customers this month. Let me move this stuff. Oh my gosh, I was so organized today, and everything's just like moving all over. So this is the one I just created. Here's some other ones. This one is using the Marvelous Magenta and the Misty Moonlight, and I did the same thing on the inside. Here's one that uses the Bumblebee and Misty Moonlight. And you can see I use the clear faceted gems on here. Oh, you might not be able to, there we go. But it just adds a little bit of shine and shimmer to the note cards. And here's one with my favorite colors, the cinnamon cider. I forgot the word, right? And the Bumblebee. And on the inside. So as you can see, those are some quick little note cards. You could wrap these up with a ribbon and give them as a gift. You could put happy birthday on here. You would just have to find some words that would fit onto the 2.5 by 2.5 inch space. Okay, now we're going to go to a card. And cinnamon cider. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4.25. And then I have, with our circle dies, I've cut out some circles, and I have a piece of the, oh, I put something over it. A piece of the Heart and Home Designer Series paper. Now this one has the cinnamon cider in it, and the Misty Moonlight, and this is this, and this definitely will be going. So if this is a paper that you really enjoy, I really enjoy all these wood grain looks, and I was started to create a card with that, and I thought, no, I want to use my bumblebees. And then I have some cinnamon cider that I am going to be using the dies that go with the Honeybee Home. Yeah, this is one of my favorite sets, and it's the Honeybee Blooms, and it's got some bees, and it has some flowers and some grasses in it. We're also using the Tasteful Textile embossing folder and the honeycomb. I can't remember what this one's called, but it goes with the suite in here. So we're going to put these aside. I don't want to lose those stamps. First, we are going to take our circles and we are going to put them onto our embossing folder, and we're going to emboss these because I want them to look like honeycombs. I have done this with some rectangles and squares where I've torn the edges so it's a little bit rougher looking. And let me get this all together. I'm going to get over our big Stampin' Emboss machine just because these will not fit through the mini. And don't forget that mini is, oh dear, on sale for 20% off. So it's a great time to add that to your order when you see the last chance list, right? So we're going to emboss this. We're just going to run this through real quick. And we're just using plate number 1 and plate number 4 for this because this is a 3D embossing folder. And look how those come out. So you have two options. You can have your honeycombs popping out or popping in. Just depends. You know, I know that when you look at a honeycomb, this is what it looks like. So we're going to be using that side. And then I am going to take my Designer Series paper and my Tasteful Textile embossing folder because I want this to look like it's fabric. And it's just going to add a little bit of dimension to my paper and interest. Okay, I'll move that. Let's move our machine over. And it just gives it that kind of that linen look and texture. I just love it. Okay, now I have taken some cinnamon cider and attached our adhesive sheets to it. So we're going to be cutting some dies out. I like doing this with intricate dies. And so I just took some scraps. Normally I would just put it on a piece of paper because it's just so much easier doing it this way. And I'm choosing these two dies from, oh, I thought that one would fit on, it did fit on it the other way. I must have put it on my paper wrong. So we're going to use this one up and we're going to use this up. Just place them on there because we don't have any stamping. I'm going to leave enough room for that other one to go on. We have no stamping. Oh, you can't see this. We have no stamping, so I don't have to worry about my dies moving a whole lot. So I put it in here, push it, slap it down. You guys know I hardly ever use Post-it notes. I know Diane does all the time, and it's a good thing to use Post-it notes when you're cutting out stamped images, because then you're for sure it's not going to move. So I'm going to just take this out. And some of my things are popping out. Let's get this popped out. And I am going to do the small one again. So let's get this popped out. I do have another little tool here since I don't know where my, Put that in there. I'm going to cut another one out, and I have enough room right here. Remember I said I was leaving enough room to cut that out. Oh, so Christy, you're working downtown. Oh, so much harder, a commute. I hope it doesn't take you too long to get down there. Okay, we're going to cut that out, move our machine. The little mini machine is so much easier to use on these lives. We don't need as much room. So that one didn't come all the way out, but that's okay. It will. Pull it out. Oh, there we go. Sometimes that adhesive sheet makes it stick a little bit. We're going to stick that one in there. I stick my dies in I have a little container here that I keep them in so I don't lose them. I do like that they're metal so that I can't lose them. Okay, so we have those. So let's start putting our card together, okay? So I am going to stamp some bees yet and cut those out. I'm just going to put my adhesive on here. Oh, I don't know if I really wanted to do that yet, but we will do a workaround. I have some ribbon I want to maybe put on here. So we're going to put this on here like this. Then we're going to arrange these. But before I arrange these, I want to take my blending brush and my Bumblebee ink, and I am just going to brush over them. Keep that open. Just like that. And I want to see if this is going to give it enough depth. It may not. No, not giving it enough depth for me. So I am going to pull out my cinnamon cider, which means I need to change my brush to my brown brush. I label mine. I have little stickers on there that I've colored with the ink. And that way I know what colors they are. Oh, I guess this has got a lot more color than I thought, but it's not showing up on camera. Okay, so I'm going to brush in a circular motion in both ways so you get both sides of the bristles. Oh, I have something on there. Now very lightly, because this is a darker color, I am just going to brush over these. Just want to give them a little bit of color. There we go, that one. And they can all be different because I do want them to be a little bit different. This one, I'm going to brush around the edges. And this is just going to be very light. There we go. So we have those. So we are going to grab these, and I'm going to end up putting them on here something like this. And I am going to pop these up. I'm looking here for regular size dimensionals. There we go. And I don't have, oh, I know as soon as I get off, my blending brush is going to be right there. And I could have done two of these, one side and one the other side, or, you know, so that they stand out from each other too. Oh, nope. Those two stuck together. This one I only need 3. It is a little bit smaller. Here we go. Now the color in this paper is actually pale papaya. It's not bumblebee, but and I could have done my honeycombs in pale papaya and it would have looked fine just because of the designer series paper. But I like using my favorite colors, and pale papaya is an in color that's going to be staying. So let's, how did I have these arranged? We're going to put this one here, put this one up here. So I'm going to overlap it. So I don't want a dimensional on top of this one. So I want to move this so these dimensionals are right along the edge. Okay, and we're going to put this one right here. Okay, so now for those bees. I had a real rough time trying to think of, should I do them in basic white, stamp them on basic white or pale papaya. And I decided I'm going to do them on basic white. I'm going to grab my bees. I am going to stamp them in black memento because I am going to color them with my So Saffron blend. That's right. Remember, we don't have a Bumblebee blend, but we do have a So Saffron. And So Saffron and Bumblebee are really close in color. Bumblebee is a little bit deeper color, so I actually like that about it. And let me get my So Saffron, and I am using the dark. I'll let that dry a little bit. And this is where I was thinking of using some gingham ribbon on here. Some Bumblebee gingham ribbon on here. And I think I'm going to because I like that look. So I am, oh, once again, Judy doesn't have her, I keep forgetting that I kind of lost in my pile of stuff here. And my desk is clean. Right, Cindy? Cindy just left a class from this morning. I'm surprised she's home already. So I am just going to lift this up. Maybe. We'll see. So I do want it to go underneath that designer Sears. Oh, easy peasy. That was a lot easier. So somebody is watching over me today. Oh. So I just want to make sure I have enough ribbon. And balance it and do it on this side. Go ahead and push that down. I am going to grab a mini glue dot because I need an extra hand in tying this. I'm going to decide where my bow is going to go. My bow is going to go just about right here because I want to fill that blank space there. Just going to tie this, pull it taut, push it down, and it's there. My extra fingers. Okay, let's wrap this around and push it through. Oh, it's like the perfect length. You may have noticed that I don't cut it from my bolt until I am done cutting or forming my bow. This saves on ribbon. You know, I make bows all the time and it seems like I have extra ribbon hanging out and like little 1 and 2 inch pieces. It's like, oh, that adds up after a while after you go through a full bolt. I pulled that just a little bit tight. Hold that down. Okay, we're going to color these and then we're going to cut them out with the dies. I'm just going to color them in there. And hopefully that's going to be dark enough. You may have to go over a couple times. You know, bumblebees, I guess, you know, these to me look more like wasps. I hate wasps. When I was a child, my girlfriend and I, we were running under the sprinkler outside and a wasp bit me in the ear or stung me in the ear. Talk about hurt. And you know, that's one thing I remember to this day. I remember that wasp. My ear swelled up. Of course, I was screaming. My mom kept telling me, oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. Don't worry. You're going to be okay. You're going to live, right? So let's get our coordinating dies for this. Oh, I have to pick that up off the floor right away or I will lose it. Okay, so we're going to grab the coordinating dies, put that one on there, this one on here. This one almost looks like it's not going to match, but it does. Okay, I'm going to take my plate, I'm going to push it in as far as it'll go, And then I'm going to slap it down and I'm going to turn it around because it's a little warped and I do want that to hold those dies snug. Slap it down. Put pressure on it and run it right through. There we go. So I'd like to welcome my YouTube viewers also. To thank you for tuning in. Okay, we're going to stick these on here. And I am going to stick them on with dimensionals. And I was contemplating doing 3 on here, but we decided, nope, I'm only going to do 2. Stick that on here. And the reason being is we have 3 circles and 2 bumblebees equal 5. Okay, now we need to do our sentiment. And in the stamp set, I just love all the fonts in here. It's part printing and part cursive, which, you know what, they don't have anymore. So now when I look at my fonts, I want to see what's going to fit in here and fit in with my 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 design. And I think that this would work the best. So we're going to just do Stay Wonderful. But now on this one, I am going to use, I think, Pale Papaya. Just because I do want it to stand out. I don't want so much. Ooh, this may not be Pale Papaya that I pulled out. I may have pulled out, it's not. I pulled out some So Saffron. So we're going to stamp it on So Saffron. It's a little bit lighter, so you guys will see the difference between the bumblebee and the So Saffron. I am going to stamp it in the cinnamon cider though. So I'm just going to stamp this in here, just like that. And then I am going to cut around my words. I love that look. I just love it when Diane does this also. I just think it makes it look kind of whimsical. And it looks, I don't know, professional to me. It's like, oh, you gave that special touch. How did they know, what dye did they use or whatever, but you're just simply cutting around it. So we're going to continue to cut. There we go. And I have the rest of that cinnamon cider. So we are going to go ahead and adhere this to the cinnamon cider with our liquid glue. And then we're going to cut out another layer. And remember, my cinnamon cider has my, let's put it this way, it has my adhesive sheets underneath it. So I'm going to cut it, and then it's already going to have the adhesive on it. And what's nice about that is we are going to be putting this onto an embossed piece, and this will help. I got to cut off this excess. And what I do with that extra piece that I have that adhesive on already, I put that in with my scraps, my cinnamon cider scraps. So it'll be all ready the next time I need it. So can you guys tell me what your favorite color is that is going to be leaving? What color are you finding is hard to say goodbye to? See, it's a little bit lighter. I know that we did do some cinnamon cider on there, but I'll get a piece of bumblebee real quick. I'm going to show you. So this is still more gold in it. So that's why I said it's like a deeper color. So Cindy says that I am like her. Does that mean that your area is messy? once you start stamping. We were talking about that this morning. Or because you get your fingerprints of ink on there. And we're just going to put this right in here. I think that's great. Now see, that's where I was thinking that, stamping this on another color would have been better, but I like the white. It makes them stand out. Yeah, crazy, huh, Cindy? Oh, okay. So, do you remember those faceted jewels? I think that honey has a glisten to it. I love honey. I always buy local honey from somebody here in town. I can't have much of it, but I absolutely love honey. But we have these clear faceted gems, and I want to stick some of them in here and watch how they just make some of this pop up and actually look like honey. I was thinking that another thing you could do is you could take our, oh, let me get the name of it. Put another one right here. Now those three are going to look like they're all in a row, which is not what I wanted. It's a crystal effects. Oh, the shimmery crystal effects. You could dump some of them in there. And you know what? I need to move one of these because that's going to bug me because they're all three in a line. And I don't like it all the way in a line. So we're going to use a large one up here. So we've got 4, so I need one more. And let's put this one right behind him, right here. Okay, so doesn't it look like honey dripping in there? I need to do the inside of my card. I'm going to grab a piece of basic white. And I am going to put, oh, we don't have flowers that match. I am going to, take this and I'm going to use it as a stencil. So how I'm going to do this is I'm going to take, because I know I'm going to get ink all over. Take my stencil and so this is the negative of that die cut. Okay, I'm going to grab my cinnamon cider. Oh, and I need to put my dies on there yet. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I did this because I forgot my dies. Although the card is great just the way it is, right? Oh, Christy likes Just Jade. I do like Just Jade. Just Jade is, I don't know. It's the perfect color I felt for a lot of projects. I think it's a green that we're kind of missing. So we may be getting it back when Stampin' Up! Decides to do a refresh. So I'm being careful because this is flapping up, so I'm brushing down. Okay, we're going to lift that up. Judy didn't get ink all over. She's going to clean her fingers off. And we have that right there. Now you're going to see I have a little space there. So what I'm going to do with that is I am going to take, my blending pen. I'm going to pick up a little color and I'm just going to I'm going to wipe it most off. Just kind of dab it and it's going to blend in. And kind of blend it down so you have a little bit of darker color going throughout and it blends it right in. See how that goes? So I'm going to leave the words, the sentiment out because I like to customize those when I go to send it. I have somebody in mind for this one, but I'm not quite sure. And I have to remember 2 things. So remind me, the dies I need to put on the front, and then I want to show you a technique that I did. I didn't finish the card. I had started it for today. And I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do with it. Just because we are highlighting the in colors. And you're going to see what I'm talking about when I show that. So I am just peeling this up. And it peels off. Okay. just like that. And once you start peeling it, be careful so you don't tear. It comes right off. I am going to figure out, okay, where I can tuck this under. I have a dimensional here. I'm just going to poke it up just a little bit. There we go. And it's not much, but it's just a little bit. I could put one down here by a ribbon. So let me try this again. And I am actually going to clip a little bit of it off. This is sticky. Now remember, we have a glue dot down there, so we're going to go down next to the knot, bring this up, and it's going to go up over our honeycomb there. And this one, I have a couple spots that I have to push out. I pushed out my protective cover there. And I am thinking that this one, I'm going to start down and go up. You know what? I'm going to use this one on the inside. Most of it. I'm just going to use a small portion of it. I do this all the time. Do you guys do that? Do you tear apart your dies once you cut them out so you can use them in different spots? And we're going to take this one because this has got more, and we're going to put this right over. Just angle it off just a little bit so it looks like it's a shadow. There we go. So that's the one thing I want to remember. I hope you guys enjoy that card. This is my favorite paper. I'm telling you, of course, it's got bees. Now, I was telling you that I did a technique, and I used Bumblebee and Just Jade together. And I used the painted paintbrush, background stamp. What's the birch one? It was painted something. I don't have it here right now. Background stamp. And I first put Bumblebee all on the stamp. And then I took a sponge dauber and I just kind of sporadically rubbed on Just Jade. And look what I got. Okay. It made a bright old olive. Okay. So keep that in mind. You know, I'm going to finish this card up. I'm going to put a card on my blog with it. But I thought, you know, I went to put it with the Just Jade paper. And it was like, there is no way it was going to work. So here's Just Jade. And see how it changed the color? So you mix your colors to get other colors and even brighter. Hey, Debbie, how are you? Misty Moonlight for Debbie. Oh, and Bumblebee. Yellow and blue are a good combination, one of my favorites. Of course, you guys notice I have a lot of favorite combinations. So thanks for joining me today, and watch for that list coming up tomorrow. We don't get the list until 1 o'clock Mountain Time either, so be patient with us getting it out to you. For my newsletter subscribers, I will be sending out in a newsletter, and I'm sure that Diane will too, and as well be posting it on our blogs. So until we meet again, friends, happy stamping.